feet, keep me grounded as I reach higher than I see. Is there something there for me? Pulling back the reins, letting go.
Hey everyone, it's Skyee here and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. So today we're going to be doing part 3 of our color along for June. So we're going to dive right on into it. We've been working in Enchanted Faces. This is the pocket size version and it's by Hannah Lynn. And the page that we've been working on is Monica. Here's what we have done for her so far. We've been a little bit, well not we, I have been a little bit unsure of what we're going to do, but I think I have a pretty good game plan and I don't think it's really like anything I've explained for the most part. So it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. Hopefully you guys like it. So let's go ahead and dive on in. I'm just going to zoom in here. And for the most part, we're just working on details now, so I'm excited about that. I think the first thing we're going to tackle is the hearts. We'll get those out of the way. So we'll grab our colors that we need here. All right, we're going to start with Process Red. I'm going to try and keep my page right here, that way we're constantly in frame. So we're going to start with the Process Red and we're just going to add a little bit of a shadow to this heart. So I'm going in with like a medium pressure. I'm just going to blend it up a little bit. This one I'm going to do on the opposite side. And then this one as well, just a little bit. And then we can also do this heart on her face here. All right, our next color is going to be the blush pink. So we're going to grab that. We're going to start in over top of the Process Red and we are just going to blend this out and fade it out a little bit. Not too much on this smaller heart. We don't really have too much room to fit our colors in there. I'm not bringing the blush pink out too much further than we did the Process Red, so we're going to add some yellows in there too. Okay, our next color is the salmon pink. Again, we're just going to kind of go over everything and we're going to fade this out just a little bit further. We'll go in with our Deco Yellow now. Again, kind of going over everything. I'm going to lightly fade it off at the end. We'll add a little bit of cream, but for the most part, the Deco Yellow is going to kind of color in everything. Then we'll switch to the cream here and just go over and burnish everything, kind of blend it all together. All right, so there's the top ones done. Okay, and then we're going to tackle the one on her arm here and then the ones on the shirt. So we're going to put a shadow on just the bottom of this one here. And then it doesn't really matter where on these ones you put it. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be hair or part of the shirt. So I kind of left that. I thought maybe it was skin. I think she's wearing kind of like a halter top and we got some side boob going on there, but I'm not really sure. Everybody else colored it as either the hair or the shirt, so we'll probably just color it in as the shirt because I think that looks okay in the pictures that I've seen. We're just going to follow the same steps. We're going to go in with the blush pink. I've got this something underneath these papers here. Okay, just making sure I'm in frame here. It's gonna be on the back of this thing. Yeah, it's right there. I'm not going to be able to fit a whole lot of colors in here, so I'm just going to like gently just pop in these colors so that way it keeps the hearts looking relatively similar to the other ones. A little bit of the salmon pink. I think this was supposed to be hair too. I missed coloring that somehow. Yeah, we'll color it as the shirt, that'll be fine. Okay, did that one. Okay, let's go in with our deco yellow now. And then lastly, we'll burnish everything with the cream. Alright, so that's it for the hearts. Let's see, what should we tackle next? Okay, I think we'll do the clouds next. So we'll start with this one down here. I'm just going to grab the powder blue. And we're just going to give a little bit of a shadow kind of around this corner here and then around this little curly part here and along the bottom of the cloud. We'll fade it up a little bit. Our next color is the sky blue light. I'm just going to sharpen mine here. Okay, so going into the powder blue, we're just going to fade and blend this out and up slightly and just lightly fade it off. We're coloring in the whole area, but just very lightly leaving the highlights a little bit lighter. And then we're going to go through and do the entire thing in white, including the outline. I'm going to go over the outline of this cloud too to soften it up. Alright, there is our first cloud done. Okay, we're going to go back through these colors, starting off with the powder blue. So I'm going to start on this top cloud here. I'm going to go in along the bottom, using kind of like a medium pressure. It's not fully burnished, but we're getting a lot of that color in there. Bring it up above this heart and just fade it out. Make sure we're getting underneath these hearts too. Basically creating a shadow to show that this top cloud is in behind this cloud here. Get a little bit of a shadow in the curly part here for that same reason, because this curl is in front of this part. So we're going to give it a little bit of a shadow. Maybe just add a little bit of a shadow to this part here. And then a shadow to the bottom of this cloud. I'm going to bring this shadow up quite a bit though, so I'm pretty much just going to color in this whole area. Again, it's not fully burnished or anything, but it's going to be predominantly that color. And we're just going to fade this off just after this strand of hair, and then we'll put a little shadow under this curly part here. shadow all along the bottom of this cloud. And this little part that you can see the clouds in between this heart, the center of this heart that's hanging here, I'm just going to fully color that in. We're not going to worry about that. We'll leave it as is. I'm going to extend that shadow along the bottom here, on the bottom of this cloud as well as around this little curly part. And make sure you're fading it out. Your fades with lighter colors like this don't have to be nearly as perfect because they're very light. You can't really see them. Hopefully the camera is picking it up because it is very, very light. And then we've got this little part here. I think I'm just going to fully color this in blue. So we were going to leave that as the clouds. We're just going to color that part in blue. Okay, we're going to switch to our sky blue light. Same thing, we're going to go over the powder blue. Did I grab the right color? Yes, I did. Okay, we're good. We're good. And then we're just going to lightly fade that up from there. Again, we're lightly going over everything, including the highlight. We're just going to add a little bit of that blue to the highlight, and then we're going to go over and burnish it with the white. Don't have a lot of room on this little one, so I'm going to bring it up just a little bit. And then moving on to the white, we're going to go over everything and burnish and make sure we're going over the line art of the clouds as well. I'm going to color in the entire cloud before going over the line work though, especially near the sky there, because I don't want to pull that pink color into the cloud. You might go over the line art of the clouds with like a Posca pen anyways, but softening it up with the white might be good enough to where we don't have to. So just kind of have to see what it looks like after. We'll soften that white line there too. All right, so that is it for the clouds. And I think that's it for these colors. I can't quite remember. So our next color is actually going to be greens. And I'm really excited for this. I'm not sure exactly where all is going to be green, but I think it will look good. So we'll have to see. So we're going to go, actually let's do this little dragonfly first. He's going to be green. So we're going to go in with the gray-green lights. 1 second here. I know. Miss Lila wanted to join us. I'm going to give these pencils a quick sharpen because most of them are pretty dull. We're going to go in with our gray-green light. We're just going to lightly base the wings here and the body. From there, we're going to go straight in with our darkest color, which is going to be the sap green light. I'm just going to put it off to the side here, that way you guys can actually see it and my hand's not over it. So I'm going to go in and I'm just going to kind of accentuate these two lines that Hannah has drawn in here, and I'm going to bring them out a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of the color to the very tips and fade that out as well. Do the same thing with this one here, but we're also going to kind of shadow in underneath that top wing there. And do the same thing on this side. Okay, just like that. Our next color is the pale sage. So we're going to bring this color just kind of out from our darker color there, but I'm also going to kind of make little strokes to kind of make it seem not so smooth. I want it to have a little bit of texture to it. We'll do the same thing on this side. Then we're going to go back in with our gray-green light, and instead of doing small circles, I'm going to color and burnish in the same direction that I put those strokes in, just so we don't end up losing those or smoothing them out. Alright, there's that there. We're going to go back in with the sap green light. I think we're just going to color in the whole body with that one. There's not really much room for any shading there, so we'll just make the body a little bit dark. While we're up at the top here, I'm going to sharpen up my process red. Get a nice pointy tip on that, and I'm going to go over the outline of the hearts. So I want these to stand out a little bit. This one as well. And then we can do the two on her skin because those are done, and the ones on the shirt we're just going to wait on. Alright, there's those. You only wanted water, huh? She just needed a drink. She didn't actually want to stay. Alright. So the wings and the shirt are going to be this light green color as well. And then the feathers are either going to be the green or the blue. I'm not too sure yet. I haven't quite decided. I wanted to see how everything else looked before we kind of went there. So let's see, we should have everything we need in frame as long as I don't move the paper around too much. We're going to go over the wings lightly with the gray-green light. And we're going to base the shirt lightly with this color as well. I think I am going to make that skin. I think we'll grab our skin colors and do that. I think it would just look the best because I don't know what that is. I don't think it's hair because her hair seems to follow kind of like the same pattern here. And I don't think it's the shirt. We're going to do it as side boob. That's just the only thing that makes sense to me. You can definitely color that in as hair or shirt if you're more comfortable with that. Totally up to you. Okay, let's go in with our darkest color next, the sap green light. We'll focus on the shirt for now. So I'm going to put a little bit of a shadow around here. A little bit of a shadow kind of where her hair is coming in underneath. Don't want to make this too dark because we want her shirt to be pretty light. I'm going to extend this line that Hannah has drawn here over. I'm going to put a little bit of shadow where her arm comes over the shirt, and a little bit of shadow along the back here and underneath here as well. Okay, then we can come in with our pale sage, and we're just going to lightly extend the shadows that we've already colored with this a little bit. Leave as much white area as you can, or lighter area, I guess, because it's not really white anymore, but leave as much of the lighter area as you can. That way we have our highlight, and the shirt appears mostly light colored. This, I'm just gonna lightly go over everything, but we'll burnish that with the gray-green light, which is our next color. So just gonna go over everything with this one. I'm going to color over the line work as well to lighten that up. Okay, let's do the wings. So going back in with our sap green light, I think, just trying to decide what area we want darker, whether it's like, for lack of a better word, like the veins of the wings here, or like these little divots in them. I think we're gonna go with the divots. So we're just gonna kind of color the very left corner and kind of flick our pencil up to mimic the lines that Hannah has drawn in there. And we'll kind of do that with all of these little areas here. These ones, there's not really a whole lot of room. Do want to add a little tiny bit of this color kind of just on the bottoms of these lines here. And a little bit kind of coming out from behind her back. But just very lightly, just enough to have the color show, but it's not going to be quite as dark as these in the divots there. Okay, pale sage. Again, we're just going to lightly add to these like little veiny bits here. And I think these divots, we're just going to color in fully with the pale sage. It's not fully burnished, but just using a medium pressure and going in there. And then with our gray-green light, we're just going to go over everything, including the outer part of the wings, the outer line work. I think actually, let's go back in with the sap green light, and we're going to go over just kind of like these outer circular lines with this one. We'll make those a little bit darker. Yeah, I think that looks better. Alright, so there's her wings there. I'm just going to quickly grab skin colors. I'm not going to bring the swatches out because this is such a tiny spot. I don't think we need it. So we're going to grab the Parma Violet. And I'm just going to very lightly go over this whole area with it. We're going to grab the dark purple. And I'm just going to add a little tiny bit kind of in behind this hair here. And then I'm going to grab the nectar, and I'm just going to go over all of that lightly with the nectar. And then lastly, I'm going to grab the light peach, and I'm going to just burnish that with the light peach. Okay, I'm not sure I actually like that. So maybe the white, actually. Let's grab our white. I think that's a little better. Yeah, I think that looks okay. I think the purple is just a bit too much. I'm gonna try and pull some of that purple out of there. The dark purple is too much. So I'm just gonna pull that out of there and then go back in with the light peach. And I think that's a lot better. Yeah, I like that. Now you can kind of tell that it's skin. So we really don't have a whole lot left. Let's go. See, do we want to outline the hearts on her shirt or kind of leave them as they are? I kind of like the look of them faded. Let's see, we'll do the small one here to see. Yeah, I think I kind of like the faded look to that. But I'm gonna grab a blender pencil and I'm just gonna go back over these lines here on her shirt. I think instead of having them lighter, I want them a little bit darker. So that blender pencil will kind of help take the pigment off of the line art a little bit. Yeah, I think that looks better. That way the shirt doesn't completely match the wings. I think they looked a little bit too close. I really don't know for the feathers or the eyes. I think her eyes would look really pretty either way, like either the blue or the green would look really good. Oh, no, Stitch wants it. You cats are so mean to you right now. Okay, bye. Okay, well, let's move on to her lips. I'm gonna grab the blush pink, make sure we're in frame here. We're good, and grab a sip of coffee. I kind of turn her face this way because I have more control over her lips. I'm just gonna lightly go over and block in some color with the blush pink. And then we're gonna go for the processed red. I'm going to come in over this line and just lightly bring up a tiny little bit of color up into that top part of her lip. There's never really a whole bunch of room on the top part of her lip, unfortunately, but we're going to try and squeeze both these colors in here if we can. Just going to very lightly pop in the processed red, going over the edges a little bit to deepen up the color. And then we're going to go back in with our blush pink. And we're going to blend that out and color everything in. I'm going to go over the outline with this, I think. Does it blend in too much? Maybe we should do the processed red for the outline instead. Yeah, that's better. Okay, I like that. So her lips still look fairly natural, but they do look a little bit more pronounced, which I think looks good. See, the only thing, if we do blue feathers, I'm gonna want to go darker, I think. I'm gonna grab tracing paper, guys, because I can't make up my mind here. And I don't quite know where it is, so bear with me. Where did I put you? I can't have gotten too far. I can't live without it. I went through and cleaned up the art room because it's been a disaster for like months. It's basically just been like a place that I've put everything that I don't really know where to put, so I had to go through everything. It's a lot better now, but I don't remember where I put everything, which apparently is a problem. Darn it. Normally I keep it right up with my colors. Okay, I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna look for that. Right, I have found it. I put it in a really weird spot. We'll just use this one because why not? Okay, so green eyes. I really like that. They really pop. They're very beautiful. If we do blue eyes, we're going to want a little bit of a darker blue to kind of create some contrast there and some depth. I don't quite know what blue we would go with. Hopefully you guys don't mind me keeping in the indecisiveness of this. I figure we have time to kill anyways, so I think it'd be like a non-photo blue type blue maybe. That's the only thing. At this point, I don't really want to introduce any new colors if I can help it. We haven't used this color anywhere. It's maybe just like a tiny, tiny little bit. I don't know if I like the blue as much as the green. I think the green just goes better. I think the green matches her hair better. So I feel like, obviously not always, but most brunettes generally have green eyes. I think that's usually like a combination you see more often. Like natural hair color anyways. Blue eyes, usually blonde, you see more often. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to go with green eyes for this one, and then we'll figure out color, feather colors after. Need some coffee. Okay. So again, I'm just gonna kind of tilt the page a little bit, just because her head's like cocked at a weird angle, so I need a different angle to be able to color her eyes properly. They need to be kind of like, almost like straight, you know? So I'm just gonna lightly color in her irises here. Don't mind the train. And then we're gonna come in with the sap green light kind of right underneath her eyelashes here. I'm gonna start off really dark, so I'm gonna build that color up in there, and then we're gonna fade it down just a little bit. Just gently, just keep building up that color so we're not bringing it down too far or too much. Little by little. I do want to give her some lines kind of coming out from her pupil here. just going to very carefully and kind of lightly add those. We're going to do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to kind of color in her pupil here because we're going to color that black anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. I want to close it off, that way I kind of know where these lines are coming out from. So same thing, really dark kind of in underneath her eyelashes, and then we're going to fade out just slowly, build up that color. And same thing, we're going to create some little lines coming out from her pupil. Trying to decide if I want to go a little bit darker with the green, but I don't think so. I think this is good. And I think we're just gonna go straight back with our gray-green light. And I think we actually base this with pale sage, which actually works. I meant to do gray-green light, but I think it worked if that's what we had done, I'm not sure. And then I'm just gonna kind of slowly work on burnishing this, but also not going in circles. I'm going in the direction that these lines are, because we don't want to. If you make lines like this and then you color in the opposite way, it's going to kind of like blend them out and it's not going to make them as sharp. See, our lines weren't as sharp here though, so they kind of disappeared. So I'm just going to go back in with my sap green light and just kind of add a couple other ones in there, a little bit darker. Okay, I like that. That looks really good. We are going to go in with the powder blue, actually. Again, just a little bit underneath her eyelashes here. We're going to fade this down a little tiny bit above her. These would be technically like her lower eyelashes, I guess. So I know we don't usually do this, but there's still technically color in the whites of the eyes. So we kind of want to show that a little bit here too, to make her eyes look a little bit more lifelike, or realistic, I guess. Bring them to life is what I was trying to say in the same sentence. Make absolute sure that you do not have any lingering colors on your white. Was I planning on using this? I don't see a swatch for it. Oh, it's on the paper. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm still sleeping. Okay, we're just gonna lightly start in the whiter area that we left white, and then we're gonna just lightly blend back into the darker area. Where's the blue? I do think that she needs a little bit more color to her eyes. They're mostly burnished, but I do want to add just some like extra lines to them, and I think I'm going to actually use the dark brown to do that. So very, very, very sharp point, as pointy as you can get. I would just use like a fine liner for this if I could, but we want more of a softer look, and the fine liner is not going to create that, unfortunately. So I'm just going to kind of just lightly outline her pupil here with the dark brown. And then, unfortunately, I'm going to have to spin her upside down because I want as much control as the lines as possible, because we want them to start darker here and fade out. So in order to get that flicking motion, we kind of need to be able to do it like this. I'm just going to very, very lightly add some of these lines, some longer, some shorter, just a little bit. Yeah. Do some darker, some lighter. I don't want to add too much, but I do want to add like several short ones kind of coming out from her iris. and then just kind of keep the longer ones long, kind of like that. That looks so good. Oh, I'm glad we decided to do that. I love that. It makes her eyes just pop so much more. Let's do the same thing with this one. This eye, I think, is a little bit smaller, so you just gotta be a little bit more careful. Again, just some little tiny ones kind of coming out to surround the pupil. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I love that. That looks so good. Okay, and from here, I actually think if we add any more green to this, I don't think it's actually going to be beneficial. So let's just kind of see here. Just going to go in with the pale sage and just kind of color in this entire area, and then just add some shadows with the darker one. I can't remember what it's called, the sap green light, I think. Yeah, I think it just adds a little too much green to the page. Let's try with the blue. I need a cleaner piece of paper, actually. Come on. Oh my goodness, I need a bigger desk. Hold on. Give me one sec. There we go. Okay. That was harder than it should have been. Okay, so you're gonna want kind of like the powder blue, I guess. Maybe even lighter. I think the powder blue should be like our darkest color. So I'm just gonna lightly go over. And then just kind of darken up my pressure just a little bit because I don't want to burnish the page underneath, but oh, I just don't know. Okay, so again, that's with the blue. I do like it. I do, I'm just not sure. Let's see if I can figure out which way we did these. Like this, I think. I do like it, I just feel like it's too much green. There's one other color that might work. I also apologize for the lighting. It is a little bit cloudy out today, but I really wanted to get this recorded, so our light's going to be kind of hit and miss. Can we just not color the feathers at all? So undecided. I think I actually might like the pink the best, just without the processed red. It would have to be like a really, really light pink. Lay on there properly. Need like that SpongeBob thing that says 7 years later. Normally I wouldn't worry so much, but these feathers are like one of the main parts of the picture. As weird as that is to say, they can make or break the picture, and I just don't know. I think it's gonna be blue. I think it is. Let's just look at these one more time. Yeah, I think blue is the safe route to go with. Which way does this go? Yeah, blue it is. It is blue. I do want a slightly darker color, maybe for like the inside of the feathers, but I don't really know if it's a good idea or not. Maybe like the light cerulean blue might be good because it's still fairly pale. So I'm thinking like this one here, it's still fairly pale. It goes with the colors we have, because right now we have the sky blue light and the powder blue. So it kind of goes with those ones. Actually, even the Caribbean Sea is a good choice too. Both of these are very similar. This one's just got like a more purpley tone, which might actually work for her better. Yeah, let's go with the Caribbean Sea. Let me just grab my swatch for that. And the pencil. Caribbean or Caribbean, I'm not sure which. Okay, those and the whites. All right. Okay, keep her right here. She's good. You guys see the swatch though? No, let's keep this off to the side. Okay. And what time is it? Okay, we're good. Okay, so I'm just gonna lightly go over with the sky blue light. I'm just gonna base that color in here. Alright, let's actually come in with our Caribbean Sea here, and actually maybe I think the center vein needs to be left white, because I think on most feathers they usually are. So we are just going to add a little tiny bit of the Caribbean Sea to some of these lines. I'm not being too particular with this, and I'm not being too heavy-handed either. I just want this very, very lightly in here. Add a little bit of a shadow underneath this vein, because again our light's kind of coming down this direction. little bit of a shadow along the right side of this one. It's worrying me because it's looking a little bit darker than I want it to, but I think once we go over with the lighter colors, that'll tone it down quite a bit. I missed a couple here. There's just not enough color to kind of accentuate those lines. Okay, I think I like that. So let's go in with our powder blue. This is going to be closer to the center. So I'm not too worried about keeping these lines sharp. I'm okay if they blur a little bit, so I'm not going to go in the same direction. I'm just going to kind of work in circles when I can and just kind of along in straighter lines when I need to. So we are going to come in with the powder blue and kind of bring out this line here and just kind of fade it out. We're going to add a little bit of a shadow in along this side with the powder blue as well. It's basically going to be a little bit darker in the center, and then it's going to fade out to almost white. That looks cute. I like that. I think going with blue was the smart decision. I think it brings in the clouds a little bit more to her, especially because in the background we have those pinks, which are on her in the hearts, and as well as her clothes. And then we do have the green spread nicely throughout because we have the hair clip on the top, her eyes in the center, and then her wings and her shirt down here. So the picture still has good balance, which is always important. Not always easy to achieve, but always important. And then this way we didn't have to bring in any extra colors, and the green doesn't just completely take over, because I really liked that as an accent color. I didn't want it to be the more dominant color. So I feel like the green just kind of stands out right now, which is nice, but in a complementing way. There's lots of trains today. That looks good. We're going to switch to our sky blue light, and we're just going to add this just very lightly at the ends. I'm not pushing hard or burnishing or anything. I'm just lightly getting a little bit more of this color in here, and then we're going to go over with the white. I do think though I'm going to grab the powder blue just for a sec here, and I'm just going to do a little bit of a shadow to this little bit of the feather sticking up, and then these two down here. So that feather's kind of doing some weird stuff there, so. Okay, and then we're going to grab the white. I am going to kind of follow the lines of the feather for the white, just so I don't risk pulling any of the brown into the paper, because I'm using a pretty heavy hand right now. think that looks good. I'm gonna sharpen my white, and I was originally playing with the idea of using the Posca pen to kind of go over, oh my white broke, to go over the line work for the feathers, but I think even though it's white, it'll still make it too sharp. Like the lines themselves will be too sharp. So I don't think I want to do that. I think we're just gonna lightly go over and carefully with the white to soften those lines up. Yeah, see, that makes a big difference between the one we just did and the ones that we haven't done yet. That looks so pretty. I think for the kind of like center bits there, I think we're gonna go in with the sky blue light just very lightly. And then we'll just fully burnish that with the white. I want those to be really, really light, but still kind of match. All right, now we're on to the fun part. So we are going to do the final touches. Let's figure out what exactly we want to add to this. I'm thinking just sparkle. Obviously we will need black and white highlights. So I'll use my Posca pens for those, and then clear stickles for sure. And my favorite of the clear stickles is this one. The ones that I get here in Canada don't have the names, but it's kind of got that like really iridescent kind of holographic sparkle to them. They're not like actually this one's not that bad either, but this one's bigger sparkles, if you can see the difference there. And these ones have more of a yellow to them, whereas this one is more like kind of like pink and blues almost. So I like these ones better. So those are the ones that I'm going to use. I don't know if this bottle's been used yet or not though. Oh, looks like it's gonna come out. Okay, so obviously we're gonna do Posca work first. So we're gonna start with our black. This is pretty much just going to be for her eyes. So we are going to color in her pupils. And then very carefully do her eyelashes. gonna also go around the rest of her eye here as well. I'm not breathing. Okay, and then this one, I do the bottom part first. I gotta flip the page like this in order to do this. So we're gonna do the bottom part first, that way I'm not rubbing my hand in it. And we went pretty dark on our hair, so it's kind of hard to see what's what, so I might have to kind of wing it a little bit here. Okay, there we go. I don't think we need the black anywhere else. I think that kind of looks fine as is, so we'll go in with our white. Okay, so I want to put a little bit of a sparkle. Oh, my white's not going to work here. I'm going to put a little bit of a sparkle on the wing of this dragonfly. I love the Poscas, but for some reason I feel like half the time they're not very like opaque. I could get a better white with my actual paint. So maybe like one right there. Don't want to sparkle up too much. So you've got a sparkle over here. Let's maybe put like a sparkle on her wings. We'll put a couple dots on her eyes here to make those kind of come alive. I like to do like a little bit of a line somewhere too. A little bit of like a lip gloss kind of line here maybe. Then let's get off. What's up here? I guess I don't really have to look in frame too much because I got you guys zoomed out quite a bit. Up here, I'm just gonna put in like some little sparkly bits by the hearts here. You're not gonna notice them too much there, but here you will. Add a little bit of a white highlight to kind of like the body of the dragonfly to make that stand out a little bit, and then a little bit of a white line above the lines that Hannah had drawn in there, just very carefully, and I'm moving my page around lots because I don't want to put my finger in wet paint. There, that looks good. Anything else that needs white highlights? This one's gonna bother me. Just kind of keeps fading. I was just thinking I wanted a black fine liner for something. Oh, right up here. grab a black fine liner and I'm just gonna very lightly go over this kind of ribbon that's wrapped around the top of this heart here. And then other than that, I think we're just gonna do stickles. I was originally planning on putting stickles on the feathers, but I don't know if I want to now. So let's just tackle the hearts first and then we'll kind of see. So when I stickle up any of my pages, I like to keep it generally very sparse. So like a lot of people will put like a whole bunch of the stickles down and just kind of leave it and let it dry. I will actually, as I'm like letting go, I will squeeze up any excess glitter glue off of the page. Oh, that's so pretty. I think we should do the hearts on her clothes just so they all match. I kind of want to make her lips glitter as well, just a little bit. Very, very sparsely. Just got a very little bit on there, and I'm just kind of swiping around some of the clusters so that way it doesn't look like there's like a whole bunch of sparkles in one spot. I don't want any sparkles on the line that separates her lips. So I'm swiping all of those ones off too. I think she looks super cute. I think the only thing that I'm going to do once it dries is I'm just going to go back over this little spot here, and actually, now that I'm thinking about it, let's actually add just like a couple little dots near this guy too, and then her wings. Anything kind of magical, we'll just add some little dots around. But yeah, when that fully dries, I'll go back over top because I think my Posca pen started off a little bit rough. Let's actually add some little white highlights to just the top of these little lines here. There, that brings her wings out a little bit more too. Yeah, we need some dots around the feathers too. I'm not gonna go too overboard with it, but just a little bit. I love that. Just makes the page look a little bit more magical, and then it does add a little bit more focus towards the feathers without having to actually touch the feathers themselves, because I really liked how those were. I'm also kind of playing around with the idea of actually sparkling up the very center of them, which I think I'm going to go ahead and do.
A little bit too much, so I'm just trying to suck some of this back up.
Okay, now she's done. So that is it for this month's color along. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think of her down below. And if you guys have any requests or any ideas for future color alongs or tutorials or anything you'd like to see, let me know too. I do have color alongs planned out for pretty much the rest of the year, but I am open to maybe changing plans based on demand. Yeah, I think that's everything. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. If you guys do color this page, I would love if you would tag me in them so I can see them. And other than that, hopefully I will see you next time. Alright guys, as always, take care. Bye!
Stars fall at my feet, keep me grounded as I reach higher than I see. Is there something there for